Hello and welcome back to the Bald Book Geek. So, Sony are up to their old tricks, and this is going there with a discussion that I think is very important. Why owning your own media library that is not a full-blown link to a service or linked to other things or streaming is extremely important. And I've said this 1,000 times. This is paraphrased from a couple of articles, but basically, PlayStation is erasing something like nearly 1,500 seasons of Discovery shows from content from customers' libraries. That is not an understatement. So here is the quote: as of 31st December 23, due to continued counter licensing agreements with previous providers, we will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your library. We sincerely thank you for your continued support. I'm sorry, but this is why they did it before with Studio Canal as well. That's a whole thing. I did a video about that as well. This is why my opinion is you need to have your own digital or physical library that's not tied to a service. Whichever way you do it. I do like physical media. I buy a lot on Blu-ray and DVD because often there are a lot of films and TV shows that I love that are either locked behind ridiculously expensive pay-for services or seem to just not exist on the internet. A lot of Golden Age Hollywood does not exist on the internet. A lot of films that I genuinely love, quite recent ones, don't seem to be on the internet. So, this is my opinion. Sony should be offering you a refund on all the content. It's that simple. You should be getting a refund. Oh, they're not going to do that. But when you buy things on streaming services, and to quote this comment here, I occasionally buy things on streaming services, but I always consider it a long-term rental. It shouldn't be, but it is. That's the thing here. When it comes to digital content, you don't actually own it, mostly. There are a handful of places you can do it, that you will own it, and it's fully legal. But there are many places you won't. And that is extremely unfortunate. Ebooks, and I am a big ebook person, but you don't, if you buy from the direct sites, you don't own it. But if you buy from places like Feed Books, for example, you actually get a file that you can keep. So there's a whole thing there. I've had books removed from my Kindle that I've paid for, but Amazon have always refunded me. The irony here, and I don't necessarily like Amazon as a company, but that's quite good. Now, Sony have offered no refund for this, but we're at the point on gameshub.com. I've never seen this website before in my life, and just looking at all of this, it just seems to be a repeating pattern. And I mean, things like the earlier removal of Studio Canal, for example. Like, oh, here's all the content that I've paid money for, but I can no longer watch. And I mean, there's a whole list of things, and Studio Canal are usually very good. But this is why you need physical media or a library of your own media that you have. Whether, and I'm going to say this, keep it legal. I don't want to know where you get your media from, but some places, sometimes you have no choice. Which is also unfortunate. There are some great films that are not available on anything outside of a VHS from 1992. And there is a lot of fan work and fans remastering this old stuff. But this means you will not access your Discovery content from that date, and that means it will be deleted from your library, and you are not getting a refund. So personally, I would rather own the film on a disc, and I do still buy Blu-rays and DVDs. new and secondhand, because I like having certain things I love on disc that I will revisit. Films that I love that might disappear in a year, 2 year, 5 years time. Nothing is permanent. There is no permanency to internet, and you won't. This idea that you don't own anything is actually frightening. It's like the end of the Photoshop licensing, where you now pay a subscription. My thing is, I like having that library. I still buy music. I do have Apple Music. I do have a streaming service, but I still buy albums that I love. And ultimately, I think that's the best way to do it. You know, I'm not saying go out and buy every film that you want on, every film you want to see. I mean, that's often I try before I buy with streaming services. But I will say, if the film is important, or one that you love, or you revisit it, or an album you love, even if you've just got the disc in a box under your bed, it's there. You can find it, you can watch it, and you can go from there. If it's a digital file that you own on a thumb drive, you can watch it that way too. You can watch it on your computer and so on. You can also rip DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm not sure on the legalities of that, but I think it's legal to back up your own content. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Please tell me. But my belief is that you should own your media, because there's no permanency in digital stuff. And that is a very true statement. Especially now with these endless deals in studios. With Disney ending DVD and Blu-ray production in Australia, so collectors are importing. I will pick on Milena Farmer, a French pop singer. I love her, but she makes a point that all of her stuff comes out physically and digitally. The physical copies might not sell as many, but it is there. And Sony have been removing other stuff. And this is true across other things. There was issues with iTunes years ago, and the whole other streaming services that people were buying content from. It's important to keep your stuff, especially if you love it. For example, Hackers, one of my favourite movies, and I have it on DVD. You can only get it on DVD, but I'm glad that I have it. And I will say, upscale DVD and Blu-ray players are reasonably affordable now. They're often cheaper than the discs, so having one as a backup is quite useful. Or if you own an Xbox or ironically a PlayStation, you can play discs on that too. So, just saying, physical media is important. You should keep your physical media, and why you should keep it. Be it even digital. If you own something digitally and you have the file, great. But I'm just putting that one out there. It's important to own your stuff, because things that you love will just disappear. So, tell me what you think in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.